We're back for the LCS Challengers League here in spring playoffs, and we go the distance in our first series here of the day. I'm Mazel. I am joined by Joshi, and what a way to get there. DSG versus AOE going the distance.
Yeah, I mean, we have been seeing so many series go to Game 3 so far. Basically, the only ones that we didn't were AOE Wildcard and Maryville Supernova, and everything else has gone to Game 3 so far in this playoffs. It just shows that there is a lot more parity across this league than I think most people were expecting. And now, it's going to be on whether or not Disguise can, one, play on the red side, and two, if they can continue to hold on to the leads that they've been generating.
True. I think that's the biggest question going into Game 3. But I got another question because we got to deal with our Subway best of 3 sidekicks. We have a churro, a cookie, and a pretzel. They're all foot long, and they are all delicious. Now, we have to figure out what champions mix up with those trios. We could have doubles if you really like pretzels. We can do that. But my first best of 3 sidekick has to be Kindred. I know, shocker.
Okay, but for who?
I go with Kindred every single time. Yeah, I'm getting to it.
Okay, I'll let you get to it.
I want to see Perry on the Kindred. I think he had a redemption game in game number 2. I think game number 1, very rough in the mid game, early game, still very good. But giving him the power to just take completely over this matchup would be so strong for DSG. And we know that's something he wants. He's been very vocal about wanting to be a leader, wanting to be a carry potential for the teams that he's on, especially on Fear last year. But here on DSG, we've seen some of those slip-ups. We've seen him go with more facilitation. I want the Kindred, and that is my pretzel.
That's your pretzel. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to have to come with a churro out here because I really want to see Kog'Maw come through.
Ooh.
Because he's very soft and buttery on the inside. And also, Wixie has had a fantastic Kog'Maw in the past. It doesn't come up very often. This champion is not very meta all that often, but it is a character that does a ton of damage and something where you can stat check almost everything that is that his opponent Manui is going to be throwing out. You have a lot of range, you have a ton of damage, especially when you wake up at 2 items, and you're going to be able to do a lot more damage than people have been expecting with this champion for a long time. You shut down Kalista, you shut down Smolder, you shut down Senna. Every single one of these champions, not Senna, Kaisa. Every single one of these champions really struggles to play into Kog'Maw because they get damage checked by him as long as he is able to shoot. So you can't really come into range of him, and he's going to outrange all of you.
So you know what's best about a footlong cookie?
What?
It's when it's cooked thoroughly through. And to do that, you need a strong fire. You know somebody that can represent strong fire? No. It's my boy, my baby boy, who's taken out back in the next patch. It's Smolder. I need the cookie Smolder. I need a skin that's cookie Smolder, but I need Smolder to come through. Not be banned away, please, because whoever gets it wins the game. And, I think that's pretty good in a game 3 that decides your spring split.
Yeah, I mean, with both Senna and Smolder on it, both these sidekicks could have a big deal. But I also want to point out a fun stat while we're on it, now that I'm expecting Disguise to be on the red side of the game here, Mazel.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to guess how many games Disguise played on the red side during the regular season.
I know it was
Bearing
super
in mind,
low. I think
they
it was...
played a total of... Hold on.
I want to say it was 6.
They played 22 games. They played 22 games. They
6.
played 4 of them on the red side.
Close. That was close.
And they only won 1 of them during the regular season. So this is... Oh, they get blue side again? All right, just kidding. Stat irrelevant. They played 18 blue side games, and they went basically even during that one as well. I'm very shocked, actually, that AOE choosing to stay on the red side in this third game because almost every team has been agreeing that blue side does feel a bit strong, but it feels as though AOE are really prioritizing giving one of their sidekicks to Zamudo in the top lane.
Now let's talk a little bit about Fearless, because I know at the beginning of the day we said, oh, we'll talk about that later when we get to a game 3. Well, we're here. We're here now. 10 bans across the table for both sides. Some big picks being taken away from them. It means we will get a bit of more spicy picks, and I expect that bot lane to be even spicier.
Yeah, and now that we are coming into this last one, right, with all the bans that have been leveraged towards bot lane so far in this series, it does mean that the Varus, which has been one of the most dominant picks, one of the most versatile picks for this entire series, is not going to be available to either team. The Senna also taken off the board. I have to imagine that AOE will not be letting Smolder go through because they've been the ones banning it for games 1 and games 2.
Yeah, there's no way. My cookie is going to stay untorched The very likely bans of maybe some setup or ONAT, the Orianna banned away this time by DSG, as well as that Varus you had mentioned. The Senna there, I'm sure the Smolder will join here. But this may be a strategy where AOE really want to try to utilize this counter pick and maybe for once giving it towards top side of the map.
Yeah. I mean, you have been bringing this up, right? During the drafts, even though AOE have been on the red side, they have not been waiting for Zamudo's R5. Instead, they're picking him up relatively early because Disguise have been picking their counter picks relatively early, right? They just pick the solo lanes in a position where AOE doesn't need to hold on to it a little bit later. But with these major AD carries already taken off the board, the last one that's really jumping out is the Kalista, and it's not something that we see Manui play nearly as often. He's only played it twice in the regular season, whereas he's played so many other different champions over the course of the game, whereas Wixie, we've known that he does have a little bit more familiarity with this champion.
Yeah, and I think something else interesting is we have some serious comfort picks still on the table for these sides, right? Manui, it has gone unnoticed that Seraphine is still a pick of his that he can
Seraphine
dominate
sucks
on, right?
on AD.
Yeah, whatever. In game 3, it might not matter. And the other thing for me, Wixie's been waiting, it feels like, to really come alive in this series. Yes, he had a pretty good Zarya game, but the Draven, things like that, still on the table for him. He was very hard focused in the 2v2 matchup last couple games, so maybe that unlocks a little bit. The Ashe, also something that's unlocked, that DSG pick up as first pick.
Yeah, and the Ashe going into the Kalista is also one of the things that is really nice, right? You pick it up and you slow the attack speed from Kalista by slowing her movement speed, and Ashe has that in spades. So you're creating a situation where Wixie doesn't want to play it as much, but finally, Zamudo's going to be getting his Rumble this time around, and this is a major question mark for Tenacity. How are you going to deal with this? And with the Kalista coming through even after the Ashe has been picked, AOE, they banned away the Talia, they picked the Ashe, so it looked like they were trying to set themselves up for a Kalista pick, and it's not there for them anymore. Now it's going to be on the other side, and AOE have some of these crucial game tools that they have not had access to this entire series.
Love that the Rumble is finally coming through for Zamudo. Also love that AOE are opting into that 2v2 I had mentioned so much here, because they do seemingly have a strength in that, right? I think we've seen Wixie and Breezy, if they get the right matchup, can absolutely snowball a bot lane. The Aatrox Nico double lock-in for DSG, trying to set up their solo lanes a little bit here.
Yeah. And I like this Aatrox into the Rumble, right? You do have a lot of play and counterplay in the Nico champion that has kind of flown underneath the radar, at least for this series. And it has been a character that received a big buff in the Hextech Rocket Belt, getting a bit more AP on 14.5. And this Cho'Gath hover, as it comes through, again, not likely to be played, but it looks like we're getting everything we wanted as the Kindred comes through as well for AoE. And Rose Thorn has taken over more games on this champion than any other champion in his history.
That's a fine pretzel right there. That's a fine pretzel.
Taste the salt from here.
Yeah, I'm very excited, though. Rosethorn getting the sticks here, wanting to himself have a redemption game against Perry, because Perry had his. Game number 2 was all Perry all day long. Even the first 30 minutes of game number 1 was all Perry. And Rosethorn had a very gritty performance in game number 1. But game number 2 was a little bit non-existent. So, Kindred, you can't be non-existent or you will lose the game.
Yeah, and looking at this game in particular, one of the things that I'm worried about a little bit from the side of Disguise is, yes, they have big crowd control abilities, but they're not consistent, right? It's hard to get all of them into targets that you want, and against double marksman, you are really going to be running around, especially with how mobile both of these marksmen are on the side of AoE. They can dance around your fight over and over again, and so Disguise are very much reliant on getting some crowd control before the fight actually starts so that they can burst one of them. But it's so hard to burst these characters while the Kindred is alive, while the Renata could potentially come through. Or it's already been banned away. But AoE, they have the tools. They're going to be dictating their fights, and they're going to be the ones who are going to be deciding how a lot of this game actually goes based on how their early plays work out.
I'm also surprised that AoE didn't just go with the Renata as the third pick there, since the jungle matchup hadn't really been decided. They do lose that in the second phase of bans, as the Syndra and Renata are banned by DSG. Poppy Viego banned by AoE. We get a little flavor of the LPL here, as the Annie coming through in the mid lane for Onat, and the Ziggs, the lock-in on the other side for Manui.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic Manui pick, but now we get to see what it is that Perry wants to play in this game, and Yeah, I guess.
Works.
Normally this is a counterpick to the Xin Zhao in particular. It does do decently well into the Kindred because you do block a lot of the mounting dread, but it is a situation where, oh man, if you do not get that stun off properly, God, you do not do anything as this champion. So AOE have set themselves up for a lot of success. They can kind of pick almost anything that they want here. Something with a little bit of peeling would probably be good. I feel like Amelia would be really cool. Okay, that
I
works
was
too.
really hoping for it, man. We've seen the Camille support rise up a couple times. Maybe not to a great success, but it is.
But
the
it's been there.
outcry.
It's there. And I like this a lot, right? You pick one of these 3 champions on Disguise between Young, Parry, and Tenacity. You knock one of them away, and you can also knock people out of the Lamb's Respite, and that gives a lot of tools over to AoE. Now, the one thing they're lacking a little bit is Engage. They're very reliant on Onat's Flash in particular in order to get some of these fights actually started up. And you have to imagine with that in mind, he will go with the Ionian boots of cooldownness and
Lucidity.
really look for opportunities to jump onto the members of Disguise every single time he has an opportunity to.
Don't worry, I got you. Back
There you go.
every time.
Very lucid.
I do expect a lot of proactivity coming out from AoE. They need to get Rose Thorn the marks early, and it's really going to be about how Parry can kind of dictate the jungle pathing matchup, because he has had the better of Rose Thorn. Even though I laud Rose Thorn for a lot of the big brain jungle pathing he can have, I think Parry can actually have such an impactful role in this game number 3. In a game number 3 that is literally everything on the line. And as we get into it, the gravity sets on the situation, and on to Summoner's Rift it goes. DSG or AoE, one of these teams will walk away with their hearts shattered and their spring season over.
And as we walk onto the Rift, again, I'm looking towards the top lane, in particular for Tenacity. If he can get that Serylda's Grudge early on and get some of those slows onto both the Callista and onto the Kindred, it is going to be a very tough time for them to maneuver, but he does need to get that as his second item. You can't really rush the Seryldas, especially in this matchup. And he also wants to buy the Maw of Melmortius, because he's also going to be dealing with all the burst damage coming out from Zamudo and Onat. There's a lot riding on the items that Tenacity ends up buying this game when he gets them online.
Yeah.
And it's a tough position to be. Yes, he's been doing a good job up in the top side of the map, but to have that much pressure being put onto one champion asks a lot of a player that they're not always able to give.
DSG playing a little bit here, trying to get a level 1 goal for themselves. Not going to end up finding another little thing that we go into this with that won't probably come online until later on is it's triple TP to 1 TP on the side of AoE for DSG. So a little bit of map play maybe available for DSG.
Yeah, look at this. This is funny.
Really good.
Yeah, well before the laning phase really starts, but Breezy really pushed back, taking a lot of damage, and now Manui and Poom can come through and harass the AD carry as well.
Who might get caught on the back end of this one? Yeah, flash headbutt as early pulverized from Breezy. The Ren stack's starting to stack up a little bit, and good trading back from AoE. A prowess we know them of. This combo of Wixie Breezy, they have been dominant together before.
Yeah, I really also like the heal instantly coming out from Poom. One, trying to dodge out, but also, just as importantly, making sure you get it off before the Ignite comes through. There's going to be a lot of potions traded back and forth, but a little bit more sustain coming through from Breezy. And Rose Thorn doing a good job. Oh, it does look like he does get spotted out a little bit. They saw the blue buff or Rose Thorn move around, and so the pings do come through. They know exactly where he is. That means that Manui and Poom do need to be a little bit careful as Parry is spotted on the other side.
Actually see that kind of quick pathing from Rose Thorn as he started on that top side, quickly moving over to the blue buff. So just buff to buff, which, again, we have to continuously keep a little bit of a side eye on how these junglers are pathing early. We already get the push from DSG on bot side, and Rose Thorn's wrapping around to invade onto DSG's jungle.
Yeah, this is very aggressive coming through. Now, Parry loves going through the mid lane if there's an opportunity to do so. And Rose Thorn going deep. This ward will not spot him out until it's way too late.
The wave is so big, though. The hawk shot not going to go through, not going to see him there at least, but he won't pull the trigger on that. Instead, he'll find Parry in his own jungle. This is a health advantage for Rose Thorn. We'll see if the Counter-Strike makes the difference here. Rose Thorn not wanting to flip the game here just yet.
Yeah, and he has to know. We saw that Manui and Poom backing away. Rose Thorn should be able to pick this one up. Does not have the super smite. In fact, does not have smite at all. And Parry needs to get a ward in there. He's got teammates coming, but everybody's here to play.
They are trying to contest for this one. Rosethorn is,
Huh.
oh, wow.
Boom got it.
Boom. Boom makes the difference.
Wow. I mean, that helps out quite a bit. That's a lot of Rosethorn's time ultimately wasted trying to find this. And he also lost the flip. The mark on the Scuttlecrab is going to be on the far side of the map. And Onat should struggle to get the priority here in the mid lane. The top lane priority is already going over towards Nasty. And so Rosethorn loses a lot of time due to the fact that Poom just, with that W, able to pick up the red buff for his own team.
Nope. And nothing really going to come of it instead. I think something else I want to look at here is RNG not going the way of AOE. Rosethorn unable to get that first mark, trying to find parry in any way, shape, or form so he can. But they actually have the upper hand here. Tangle Barb connects and a huge amount of damage going to Onat. Rosethorn ends up getting that one, I do believe. And Parry just trying to get his way out.
Yeah, a bit of a heal going over to Rosethorn as Parry. I think it's a bit of the small ones, right? It's not a complete win, but taking away something when you could have gotten nothing is, you know, pretty decent. But also in this bottom lane, we are starting to see that Manui and Poom doing a good job forcing Wixie away at a time where he's going to be missing out on, if not all the experience, then still a fair amount of the gold here in the bottom lane at the same time. It does feel as though Disguised kind of across the map are doing another good job in this early game.
And it's been a consistency in this series. The only problem is, trying to close that one out. But DSG have, in all 3 games, found big leads early on. This one, much different. I don't think we're getting any big advantages necessarily, any huge CS differentials as well. But it's a little bit more of that consistency from DSG showing through.
Yeah. Also pointing out here that Kindred is going to be getting at least 2 of the grubs, so preventing Disguise from getting all 5. The Patreon subscribers and the Twitch chatters will not be able to help out Disguise, but they can still come out to help out AOE in this game. And also with those notifications, it does let Nasty know, it's like, hey, you might want to back up a little bit. There's a Kindred in the area who might be behind you now.
They're always behind you.
Always.
I do wonder, though, does this lack of getting those early marks for Rosethorn, is that going to hurt in the long term? Because I do feel like with the double marksman comp, especially with this double marksman comp, a lead is kind of needed to feel confident on the map.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it a lot because it's easy to track on the Kindred, but it's not the end of the world if you don't get it quickly, right? Especially into the number of melee champions that you have. The bigger thing is actually getting a lot of these items online so that you have the movement speed to go for these fights. And now Disguise setting up in the mid lane.
Young going for the Pop Blossom onto Onat. Actually trades pretty heavily into him with Poom's help there. They are taking the Dragon now. I wonder if the poke from Manui is going to actually make the difference here. He's got a lot of AoE spacing as well, but Rosethorn doesn't want to give this one up just yet. Feels like AoE are a little bit less confident in it. They'll back away. Now Poom, he's fine to Rosethorn as that approach velocity helps a lot. Dragon goes the way of DSG.
Yeah, good stuff from DSG, pushing away the members of AoE so they can't go for any steals at all. Much cleaner than a lot of the Dragon takes we've been seeing from Disguise so far in this game, and that will help them out quite a bit as Poom continuing to harass on this Ashe. It's a character that has been very absent from the Challengers League because of how often it has been banned, and Poom really showcasing why it has been such a threat to a lot of different teams. And now as we're starting to get level 6 coming up on a lot of different characters, look to see how aggressive Poom really is with these ultimates. We've seen a lot of Ashes move around the map in order to go for these ganks for the rest of the team.
A lot of damage being done with that poke from Manui and Poom, and they are at a position now that Wixie and Breezy have no say in the lane state. It feels like they just consistently get poked. They don't have the range to have any say in it. And this is a point where you were wanting a lead ahead of this point now, as well as another turret play. It looks like it could go down next wave.
Yeah, the big thing that we got to look at for the side of AoE is now that Annie has the ultimate and the flash and the lucidity boots, you have a lot of tools to get these fights started, but we haven't seen Rosethorn go for any plays. The one time that he was looking down towards the bottom side of the map, people backed away. He got some grubs. He's doing all right on his farming. He doesn't have any stacks, though, and so Rosethorn is not blowing this game wide open as he loves to try and do, and even though he's going to be going in for another invade against Parry, it's not going to be the most impactful thing as there's going to be members like Poom moving up towards the top side in order to try and interrupt.
very hotly contested blue buff that'll reset and force AOE to stick around even longer. Young, he goes for the triple, and he finds it. That Lamb's Respite gonna save a ton of time for AOE. Equalizer on top of it. The choke point's coming alive, but Poom is now here. He can't make a difference, though, but Perry can. Perry wants Rose Thorn. He wants to step forward now. That slow is coming in. Rose Thorn gets a clutch mark, but goes down immediately. Breezy flashing over the wall, missing, and that is a contested fight that ends up in a wonky 2-for-1 there.
Yeah, it looks really good at the start for Young, but a great ultimate for Rose Thorn means that none of them can actually die at the beginning. I believe he actually throws it out really early. As soon as the ultimate comes through, he comes unstunned. He just throws it down, and that saves Ona's life, and that means that the bear is going to sit there and do a ton of damage throughout the course of this engagement, and the rest of it just becomes a situation where these guys do not have the damage and the target selection to actually take down any low members, because you cannot let Rose Thorn actually survive this fight.
Can't believe Zamudo survived as well through all of that, but we finally had our first kills here so far into the game, and all that tenseness, all that stress starting to build up in a game 3 that matters the mostest for both these two teams.
Remember, whoever drops this game will be going home. This guys technically still have a gold lead in this game, but it's a very tenuous one. It's not very large, and with the first dragon going over their way, they have relieved a little bit of the worry of dragon stacking going over towards the side of AOE. They also will pick up the grubs, equalize there, or at least make sure that AOE cannot get any of the Twitch chatters to help them out, and so it is a tough position for Disguise. They have been able to blow open multiple games around this time, even just in this series alone.
Ooh, they might not be able to deny it. Perry realizes he needs to get it. Does end up denying it. Will get 2 grubs for DSG as AOE move in for another one. Rose Thorn did get the mark on the bot side scuttle, so he's up to 2 now. But at least movements around the map from DSG pretty good to stave away some of that insurance policy for AOE.
AOE need it, right? We have been saying that a lot of the games that they've had so far have kind of fallen apart, right? They either really take huge leads off the back of Rose Thorn and Ona in particular, or they can kind of crumble a little bit later. They will continuously fight, but now we see the arrow come through and it goes wide.
Zamudo sidesteps there. Leaf Strike going to be used. Counter Strike on top of it, even with the smooth moves. Tenacity gets the kill on Zamudo.
Too many slows come through. The red buff is there. The glacial hawk arrow things that Ash throws out are always slowing them down. Frost Shot, I think that's what it's called. We're not doing good with our names here today, Mazel. But still, AOE lose another one, and they're only going to be getting this mark here in recompense.
That's actually pretty big, though. It'll be a 3rd mark for Rose Thorn, so at least something going right for him now as he's starting to turn up a little bit. Definitely wants those break points. That 4th mark going to be really important. We do have Dragon coming up in about 20 seconds with Tenacity pressing the top side of the map. No TP available there yet, but I believe DSG want to come contest this one to get a 2nd one.
I mean, they would love to get a 2nd dragon, but more importantly, it looks like they're trying to bury Zamudo in this game, right? They're going to be denying him another wave, giving even more gold over towards Tenacity, and Zamudo trying to get underneath the turret will be allowed to do so, as both Tenacity and Perry will be backing away. But it looks like just now is Rose Thorn thinking, where are they? Maybe we should actually go for this dragon now.
Where are they?
Where are they? What's happening?
I don't know, man. It's like League of Legends or something.
Really? I didn't think that's what we were doing.
Oh.
It's a tough game.
It is a tough game. I'm not very good at it. Dragon is up now, though. We did have that redeploy for DSG towards this bot side. They also have a decent amount of pressure in mid lane, having brought Poom up. And I think a saving grace for DSG so far has been the ability of Poom to get out on the map. That man has literally been an absolute force on the map so far.
Even now, Disguise is not looking to play towards this dragon whatsoever. Instead, they're going right back towards the top side. They're sending Perry, they're sending Poom. There's not wards in the pixel, but as soon as Poom shows himself in the tri-brush, it will give Zamudo the knowledge that he needs to back away. And they did see the arrow.
Ooh, nice flash from Zamudo there. It does end up getting out. I will say, a little thing there, 4th mark did get accomplished by Rose Thorn on the spawn of that Scuttle Crab in front of the Dragon Pit. So Rose Thorn does have his mark potential now, has a little bit more online status as well as that Kraken Slayer completed. While we get the bear in the mid lane as Poom shows his face.
Are you sure you got his 4th one off of that? I don't think it's possible to spawn there for your 4th one.
Let's see. Can we go to Kindred? I just saw the little, like, animation over his head whenever he got it.
Well,
it is the 4th one.
All right. Well, there we go. Comes through. But there's still a lot of play towards the top half of the map as both Poom and Breezy hanging around. There's no ultimate from Poom, but he can still check every brush.
Oh, Young coming over. Is Joe at least joking a little bit with AOE? Perry getting over the wall there, luckily.
I just joke. It's okay. I go away now. Do not worry. Disguise will be starting up this Rift Herald, though, and it will be leaving the bottom side of the map completely to their own devices. That does mean that Wixie has not been having an opportunity to really play with his support in order to take down the Ziggs, and the Ziggs just happily scaling into the game, whereas Wixie has to be a little bit frustrated that as Ballista, he's not getting the attention he really deserves as League of Legends' main prima donna.
And that's what I want to talk about a little bit more is when you pick a comp like this for AoE, you want to be ahead, you want to be getting gold to the Callista, and you want that 2v2 to be going your way. When you look at DSG's comp, they have a ton of setup in the late game, but also the team fights there. So really for AoE, you're looking for big picks in the key moments.
Yeah. I think the big thing here, though, as we look at the AoE composition, is they still have time, right? Annie is still strong. Kindred can still take over some of these fights. Zamudo is still very strong in these upcoming fights, but it does become an issue the later the game goes if they still haven't blown open the game. Because even though they can still dance around the members of Disguise, it becomes harder and harder for them to dodge out on all of the crowd control that Disguise will have, because the cooldowns on all their crowd control will get shorter and shorter. And now, Onat's the one at risk, actually.
And for DSG, really, their go button is Poom. If Poom hits an Enchanted Crystal Arrow, they go. If he doesn't, they back away.
And it really comes down to how Poom wants to play. We've been seeing that he's been throwing out arrows, basically whenever he thinks that a kill is possible as they look for Onat.
He gets ulted. There's that arrow. Mega Inferno Bomb on top of it, too. Onat going to not actually pull the tippers out just yet. I'm trying to get it back and get the TP. The lone TP for AoE. Maybe trying to move back down towards this bottom side, but DSG were representing in full. They're trying to get this outer tower down here.
Yeah, I also do love the fact that Manui just chucks his ultimate immediately, right? You know one thing about Manui is that if you call him for a party, he's freaking down. He's going to be there, right? You say, oh, we're fighting. He's like, I got you. Throws a bomb right on over. Just hangs out. It doesn't really matter, and that's one of the things that allowed Manui to have a lot of success on his time on Cincinnati Fear, is everyone on the team was like, oh yeah, down to freaking party. But this time around, you could tell that Disguise were not sure. Do we commit onto this guy? Do we not? Because the Rosethorn is right there.
Oh, that's a mark to Rosethorn. Perry still wants to fight, though. Breezy going to pop the Unbreakable. He is a tanky cow now. AoE got what they wanted. Maybe staying for a little bit more here. And another mark goes the way of Rosethorn.
That's another time, though, where it feels as though Perry is a little bit desynced from the rest of his team, right? He wants that play, and everybody else is like, you know, I could take it or leave it. What do you want to eat? And then Perry's like, I wanted to eat that. But I was like, well, it's too late. It's already passed. We already just put the pizza in the oven. So we have to go on to something else. But it is still Disguised in a position where it feels as though this was a game that was supposed to be a game for AoE to dictate how the pace it was going to go, but it's actually been mostly Disguised doing so.
And you have to remember, Disguised are literally our reigning champions here in NACL. They won Summer. Young, the only returning member. Being in the lower bracket is not a place they want to be at a chance to stop themselves from getting a chance at defending their title. And this composition, it has its strengths. I think Manui has been letting the flexibility of his drafting style play towards DSG's strengths. And that is the potential that I looked at and I saw for Perry and Manui coming to this roster from Fear.
Yeah. And that is always one of the things that you know that is always true of any team that Manui is on. We talk about how players like Winnie change things, but Manui allows every team to play a strong top side. And so far, throughout most of the series, it has been going well. But to their credit, this time is the time we get to see why Zamudo drew bans on the Rumble 2 games in a row.
He's going to have a lot of say in here. Now we are getting to second items. Tenacity has completed the Eclipse after having gotten them all. First, you have Dragon up on the table. A second one for either team. Rosethorn gets Enchanted Crystal Arrow. He doesn't have time. He does pop that Lamb's Respite, and now Young is on the back foot here. He gets locked out. Oh my god, they move in, they execute him, and now DSG are looking at a big fight. They had the Rift Herald as the distraction card effects in the mid lane, and now they move onto a second Dragon.
And they're able to take him down, right? You can tell both teams are so ready to play around the fall of the Lamb's Spite. As soon as it's done, ultimates on both sides just come swinging all over the place, but this time goes in favor of Disguised. And this is, again, Poom, as you were calling out, the main player that we look at when it comes to actually getting some of these fights started. When he throws the ultimate down onto Rosethorn, everybody suddenly commits. They try to get him down before all the crowd control is ready, and then there's some waiting, right? And as soon as the ultimate goes down, yeah, the Tangle Barb comes through it. Manui's ultimate is there. The Equalizer comes down. But Disguise do not commit too much. This has been something that they've been working on and is clearly paying off in this Game 3.
I just love the decisiveness from Poom. As soon as he sees the leap forward from Rosethorn, he's like, bro, you're dead. And he just takes the shot there. And I think that's going to be super crucial, as you highlighted, and kind of continue talking about the engage potential for Poom to keep an eye on here. Now AOE struggling to find any advantages in this game. They are 3,000 gold down, but that doesn't mean they are out of it. We saw in game number 1, they fight back tooth and nail, even if they're missing limbs.
And now Disguise, as they start moving towards the top half of the map, as that is the last structure for them to take down. I mean, again, this is one of the things that's so powerful about this Ashe, is you can face check every brush with arrows. And it does mean that Disguise very safe in this top side of the map, but you can also start to see the number of wards that have been put down from Disguise. Now, those are not the normal control wards or even just like vision wards. Those are the blue trinket wards that have come through. It means, oh, the zombie wards, actually.
Oh, Onat getting caught here. Everything used. He's going to flash.
Yeah, that's a flash coming out from Onat at relatively low-cost ultimates from the side of Disguise. That means they should be ready to fight for this Baron should they want to go for it, but they don't have a lot of damage into this Baron this time around, and so it becomes a lot about the poke. This is a game where you don't play for the burn, you're playing for the turn. You're not trying to sit there and wail on the Baron. You want to make sure that people will come towards you so that you can jump on top of them. The AOE still feel like they are strong enough to get things started, but Ona has not had his flash. Getting that flash out of Annie is a lot more than the fact that you can kill him now. It's the fact that he can't engage on you nearly as effectively.
And we haven't been able to see him get those big engages yet. It's got to be even more crucial as time goes on. Obviously, there's still a lot of time for that, but that's a big combo that AOE need to be able to find consistently. Now, Rosethorn going for an invade onto Perry's jungle, trying to take away the Raptors. Does get the small ones, but doesn't get the big one. Was trying to go for the red buff there. Try to get the mark once again. He would be on his 6th if he gets another one. Rosethorn pushed out of the enemy jungle, going back towards topside.
That's a really bold from Manui too, just like waddling up right at Rosethorn. Like Rosethorn can absolutely win that fight, just showcasing, I know where everybody is. Everything is just A-okay. Disguise, they're taking control of the mid lane once again. They have a lot of freedom to pick their own battles, like we were kind of talking about. Wherever Onat is not. Now that Onat is in the bottom side of the map, we're seeing a lot of pressure come through from the Disguise on the top half. This top lane turret is still the focus for them, and as long as they can create enough space where people cannot come out to help Zamudo, the structure will go down.
You actually see them able to take down that outer structure in the top side of the map there, but the engage misses as Prairie trying to go over on Zamudo.
Oh,
Aaron is just getting... Okay. Little ADC one-on-one there. A little help from Breezy, but now Breezy's all by himself. Meanwhile, the topside fight's still going. Lamb's Respite goes down. Put on your chameleon eyes, because we got multi-fights going. Onat is trying to survive. DSG are picking them apart. One by little one. Another one bites the dust. And 4K lead for DSG.
There we go. All the skirmishes come out in favor of Disguise at the perfect moment, and doing a little do-si-do. Breezy able to get out of that one, but now Tenacity's going to try and run him down at the same time. Hex Flash, some over the wall.
Breezy, the great escape, man. That's the slickest move in Cal I've ever seen, and I used to work with Cals every day.
There you go, the cowboy coming through. But here we go. We're going to take another look at the duel between Manui and Wixie as Breezy comes through. The flash over the wall. Both of them go through. And it's the Baron. Baron, the big help off of that one, making sure that Wixie is not able to just win that outright. But then afterwards, we get to see the dual fights, right? The flash immediately coming out from Onat, or from Poom to dodge away from Onat. You know that's what Onat's going for. It's his first time to try and make it happen. Unfortunately, does not have the damage. This is just a 2v2 win. But in the top side, we do end up losing Perry in this ongoing fight because of how long it takes them to get through the Lamb's Respite.
Tenacity is just so big, though. able to get the flash Q sweet spot there as well and get a couple kills for himself. He's now on 3 items, and that's a big lead for a guy who can be a massive difference maker. Speaking of, Rosethorn not able to use the ulti because it wasn't off cooldown, and now a jungler down for AOE and a marksman down takes their odds really down in the dumps.
Yeah, it's, again, looking very similar to both games 1 and 2, which is where the issue comes up, right? Disguise had a lead in game 1 that they ended up throwing away. They had another lead in game 2. They weren't able to close it out, but this time they have a strong scaling component here in Manui. He will do a lot of damage, but it'll only take 1 or 2 mistakes where Wixie and Rosethorn can go nuts in these fights. When Rosethorn gets the Trinket Force completed, that's an opportunity for AOE to start swinging back, but it does not look as though they've had an opportunity to do so. If Onat's next 2 flashes don't start getting them kills, it's probably going to be done.
It's all about the timing here, and again, a series, a game that literally your entire spring split rides on. So many weeks of work, so much preparation, and it all comes down to a couple key decisions. As now we get down to it, the Baron is a play for DSG. They are waiting on their 3rd items for Manui and Young, but they're getting very close to it, and I still struggle to see how AOE finds a consistent fight here. Wixie not having any real damage to speak of, has to be able to execute these fights so cleanly.
Yeah, and we're already seeing the 3 items coming through from Tenacity. He has the Sundered Sky and the Eclipse. He does a lot of damage. He just needs to be able to stick on to someone, and when Wixie does not have his flash available, the movement speed from the World Ender allows Tenacity to stick to his opponents. And Disguised, they're moving around a lot of members up here on the top side of the map, as are AOE, but you just leave Manui free.
Boom is here as well. And Check Crystal goes down. Land's Respite is already gone. Oh, Young, he gets the combo. Pop Blossom on a 1. Young's on a rampage now. Wixie's trying to fight over on the side here. Breezy's trying to come save him, but he can't do it. And AOE, they're falling apart here. Tenacity makes the difference, and DSG do as well. They're on to the Baron.
They're onto it, and they've done such a good job yet again preventing Onat from getting any of these fights started on their own pools. And also, Young, just with that ultimate, this team has been so good at playing around the Kindred ultimate. The Lamb's Respite has saved nobody immediately afterwards. As soon as it falls, the skies are ready. Tenacity and Young zoning out any opportunity for a Breezy and Onat to try and steal.
Barry getting a little bit low, as they are just trying to buy a little bit of time there. They do end up taking the Rally Cry Baron buff, and a solid 8,000 gold lead for DSG.
And surely this is going to be the way that they will be able to keep their fate in their own hands and advance in the upper bracket. This team was a team that was struggling throughout the course of the regular season, but they have come alive in these playoffs. Game 1, couple too many mistakes, but they still had the lead, and now going into Rosethorn, they try and take away his blue buff, don't quite get it. They have so much control over the course of the map. The Rally Cry Baron buff already getting them another 1,000 gold in their pockets.
They're almost circling 10,000 now. We take a look back at that play.
Yeah, I mean, this just comes through, right? And as soon as the arrow is here from Poom, the fight is here in earnest. And the big thing is watching Onat and Young. As soon as the Lamb's fight comes down, Rosethorn and Zamudo are stunned. And Onat, on the rest of the fight, still not able to get an engage onto any target he really wants to. He's having to use his stuns defensively. He's having to use his flashes defensively because of the pressure Disguise has been putting on him. And now, Young, they're trying to find something.
Oh, Pop Blossom again. He's going to get 2, done a ton of health damage there, but Young, he's going to go gold. And Mega Inferno Bomb, Rosethorn's burning. The rest of DSG are on their way. Young finally goes down, but what did it cost? Thanos says everything. Thanos is Tenacity. The Chad has arrived, and DSG are putting AOE 6 feet in the dirt.
Oh my gosh. They try and make a play onto Young, but they get him. But Tenacity comes out with 4 rings, 4 kills off of that one, and this is going to be the end of the game. You have it, Ziggs, you have the Baron buff, everybody's still alive. The Death Tyrants will mean that only Breezy will be in the family photo.
Tenacity's words of scaling into the playoffs ring true. This team, even after a really rough game number 1, they find the difference maker. They have made the run, and they're going to continue in the lower bracket as DSG win 2-1.
The Skies move one series closer towards making their way towards defending their title at the live finals here in the Santa Monica studio. And they have a great win that they really need as we take another look at this one. Yes, they find Young. Yes, they do a lot of damage, but it takes them so long to kill him between his ultimate and the stopwatch that Tenacity able to come through with the rest of the squad, able to swing on through, and that just means that there is nowhere for AOE to go. They've used too many defensive resources in the previous fight, and now they are just blown to bits. And that is going to be AOE for a good run, taking FlyQuest to 3 games, taking down Wildcard, is going to fall down here. And we'll go no further in the Challengers League bracket.
Got to give some props to AOE. They gave every single member that they went up against a huge sweating brow and a run for their money. I think we have to give a little bit of props to that org. They've been a huge developmental force here, and I love to see the team come together. But DSG, they are scaling into a beast, and they have a title to defend. They want to make the run. What a game, what a series. That was only series number 1. So we'll be back after a short break with our interview.
Introducing the new Footlong Sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious Footlong Cookie, Footlong Pretzel, or Footlong Churro.
Welcome back, one and all, for the Rally Cry post-game interview. I am joined by Young, the victorious mid laner for DSG, and a continuation of the push in the lower bracket. My friend, you guys are on a trudge, you're on a long haul, but you make it to another step. What does defending your title this year mean to you as the only returning member?
Yeah, it means a lot. Like, obviously, I don't want to lose again. Like, the feeling of winning is just, like, really nice, so I just want to get another title. Yeah.
Easy as that, I guess. You just go for the title here. Now, Tenacity, I was speaking to him before going into the playoffs, and he was very confident in you guys scaling for those playoffs, kind of getting things right for yourself. I think there were some rough moments in this series, but do you feel confident in that fact you guys have fully scaled to a proper position for playoffs?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, we had a rough season, but I think playoffs, we've been playing way better than regular season, and we're just learning every game and getting better, more consistent, so...
Now, what is your favorite part of the meta right now, especially with a lot of the versatility being played in mid lane? We saw you on the Karma, also flexing a little bit more on other things, the Orianna. So, do you like the way the meta is playing? Do you feel like there's a lot of flexibility in your champion pool as well?
No, I fucking hate the meta, honestly. Like, I hate Akali, I want to play Akali, I want to play Sylas, I want to play LeBlanc.
That's what I was going to say. Wait, you hate Akali?
Yeah. But, I mean, it's fine. Like, I could play all the champs that are meta right now, and I actually enjoy playing Karma, so.
Has there been any big difference for you guys going into the playoffs in terms of prep, in terms of kind of how you approach the games, and especially for me, kind of that stability that's being shown through you guys? Is there a big change in the mindset you guys are approaching with?
Yeah, I have like a quick little shout out to Don Jake. He kind of turned our season around with the motto "Charges to the game." I think throughout this whole playoffs, we've been charging it to the game, and it's like the reason why we've improved so much, honestly.
I love to hear that. Give the shout outs too. I do have a particular question. Maybe it goes a little too in depth, but you can feel free to answer however you want. Was there a brass tacks conversation after that first game? I mean, that was a rough one to lose, and you guys stayed in it for game 2, game 3.
Yeah.
But who kind of rallied the troops after that first game?
I think Nick just calmed everyone down, and Arrow. And Arrow's feeling freaky, but yeah, we just kind of forgot it. Like, it's best to forget games like that. Honestly, we just wipe it from our minds and just move on. It's the best way to think about it.
Easy as that. Nick able to turn it around, but I'm sure a little stirred conversation goes a long way. I want to give you a chance to give some shout outs before we let you go here, Young.
Yeah. Obviously, Toast. I don't think he's co-streaming, but it's fine. $5 Patreon. It pays our salaries. And also Don Jake, and also Freaky and Arrow.
Appreciate that so much. Thank you, Young, for giving us some great games to watch. I'm going to say goodbye to you now. I'm going to also say goodbye to the audience as we're going to send it to a break, and we'll be back with our second series. Don't you go anywhere.
Thank you.
Welcome one and all to Gamer Changer. Our contestants will be answering 4 statistical questions about the league with 2 additional fun questions added on. All of our wonderful contestants will be competing for their chance to make the NACL casters produce any content that they would like. Let's get to it, shall we? Question 1. Who has the most kills in the league?
So it's either Wixie on Smolder at 15, or he's tied with mid laner at 15 as well. That was playing Azir.
You're so reasonable.
It's gotta be like quad, bro.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking as well. I remember there was a Surdy game where at least at some point he was 10-0-3.
Oh, we should have checked the stat saves before this.
Spyrex Azir.
That is a bias. I play with Wixie too. We're double biased.
No, I don't even know this Spyrex guy.
Like, I actually think it would be like a lower team. The higher teams don't even give kills. Like, I watched Sidon take like 5 kills on Poppy.
All
Sturdy,
right,
man.
it's gonna be Sturdy then.
Oh, I knew it, I knew
it. Oh my
I
god.
think it's Rock Boom. Is it right?
Let's just do Wixie Smolder at 15. I knew it was, I told you it was Azir mid. I told you. Why'd you say Spyrax? Why'd you say Spyrax?
Who has the top KDA in the league?
It's gotta be a Maryville or FlyQuest player.
I played with Yuji and he's the biggest KDA player of all time. You know this, Max.
Yuji or Scary Jerry?
Junglers have to die for the boys all the time. It can't be a jungler.
I feel like it's Scary Jerry. He's been popping off this.
I haven't watched
They said.
many Maryville games at all.
Wait, think about 5. I mean, I would say Quad, but then Quad had an int game on Azir.
Oh, I want to say Array. He's AD carry on a top 3 team.
I mean, yeah.
Are we locking Array?
Bro,
I told you it was AD carry.
that doesn't matter.
Ah!
You got this one. Okay, Jerry. Okay.
Let's go with the Raga's answer here.
All right.
Scary Jerry?
Jerry.
Yo, I got it. Maybe I'm the Brains Dragoon. I thought you were.
Yeah.
Who has the most solo kills in an ACL?
Quacker.
No, last split it was Quacker. It's either 30 or quad.
But I mean,
Yellow-
Quacker is still solo killing though. Like low key.
No, he's not.
He is.
I don't think it's like Waters, but it has to be a top lane. Oh, it has to be a top lane.
I would say Surdy, but the thing is, there's that like one Rumble game against like Philip Scion. He like started off the game with like 8 deaths.
That could be genius.
I think it's 30 or quad. That's my answer. What's your answer?
Going Quacker still. Like low
Okay,
key.
we choose Quacker.
Oh my god.
I think Surdy's good. I think it has to be. It's Surdy. Wait, when
did
did he solo kill against us? Like, did he even solo kill against us?
Do you just go with Surdy?
Oh, he was just farming his solos.
What was the longest game of the split?
We had the longest game though.
Was it
I-
versus Fly?
I think it was versus TL. No.
Wasn't it ours?
Oh, the
Did
fear
we get
game?
to a game with 3 elders?
I think it was 2 elders.
Wait. There was a Fear versus TL game that like went crazy. Wait, no. Wait. Fear versus Lit.
Yeah.
Like Aphelios. I remember Aphelios Lulu.
I think we have it. I think Fear has the longest game. It was more than 45. Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, I knew it. No, yeah, I know we had
mean-
it. Dude, you know why I know we had it? It's our head coach. We lost, everyone's depressed, and then in the bottom of our Discord, Cal just posted a screenshot of, at least we have the longest game in the season, guys. I'm like, bro, why are you posting this? We lost. Why are you? This is not a flex.
I mean, yeah, that game was.
Okay, all right. Fear versus Lit.
Bro, I said it!
You want to just slam our game?
I think it was our game.
Yeah.
That's a tough question. Though.
Oh,
That's a tough.
yeah.
Act out your favorite champion. Your duo must guess who it is.
No, we have to like do charades.
No, this is easy, Philip. I already have my answer. You'll guess it instantly.
Oh, I have a good one. I'll go first.
Can I use like props already?
It's Lucian.
Wait, he already knew before.
You're gonna guess it instantly. If you don't, you're banned. You're just
Okay,
banned.
okay. Graves?
Ding, ding, ding.
Is that Thresh, bro?
Yes, it is. I got the hook. Oh wait, and then I played.
Okay. Wait, this one's so easy.
Philip, I know what you should do, Philip.
All right. I got it.
Player.
Yeah.
Father. Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready, Max?
Yeah. Wukongar. Boom.
Yeah.
Wukongar. Boom.
Okay, come on. We are the best at that. Oh.
Ganked by mom. What is it called? Hot cocoa? Is that Malphite?
No, man.
We set.
Yes.
Why'd you clap like that? When you're like punching, I'm like, oh, he's doing set, and then you just clap. I'm like, huh?
Let's calculate points, shall we? We have Lit with 2 points, Fear with 3 points, and Wildcard with 3 points. Wait, we have a tie? And we have our winners! Congratulations to Cincinnati Fears, Chad and Philip for winning, and thanks for tuning in to Gamer Changer.
I think TLC will win. We'll have no issues at all.
Probably FlyQuest. I hold a lot of respect for like a lot of their players, so probably the favorite to win.
Can I say myself? Yeah, I think FlyQuest is the favorite to win the split.
Area of Effect Gaming. I think they're individually just so cracked that it doesn't matter who they're up against.
Well, that would be my team, because it's my team. I mean, who roots against themselves, you know? Us or FlyQuest, because I think we're the best 2 teams.
I'd say it's probably FlyQuest, I mean, or ourselves. I mean, I can't ever count myself out.
Yumi? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'll just say Yumi.
That champ just like is useless, and then whenever the champ is useful, like the game kind of sucks, you know?
The community will have my back on that one. So yeah, just Yumi.
Well, this is embarrassing.
I think it's Zoe. She's just the mid lane champ that wins jungle matchups, and I also don't even really want it on my team, so I just say Zoe.
Zed. I hate Zed. They just farm with Q from far, and then they think they're good when they press R. I think like if you're a Zed OTP and you can play Zed and you like have like the basic combos down, it shoots you up like a whole tier at least.
I think I'll choose Zeri. Kind of like the peak of Zeri Yuvi meta, and like Zeri Lulu meta was kind of the bane of every top laner.
I want to dunk on Shochi. Yes. He's a good friend of mine, and he's a good laner, and I want to dunk on him.
All of them, but in particular, every support player that exists, hands down. Just pick one.
Quad. So badly. So badly, actually. This guy has 87 LCK games. He just dropped 2 nukes in his most recent game. So if I can drop a nuke on that guy, then it's gonna look good for me.
Messages on Lit. Give him a little reality check.
I'll just choose Dragoon. I mean, we're the 2 like Darius players and ACL, and there's only space for one, I guess. I'll just say that.
I just want to be AOE because I think I'm friends with a lot of them, and it would just feel good, yeah. I would do full Fearless LCS, not even the NACL Fearless, like both teams can't play the champ.
I don't know. I think it's in a good state right now. I'm liking the format and the games on the weekends.
Take the free money, I chill, and I listen to the people. You know, I'll be a good commissioner.
I'm adding Duo Q back to Masters, GM, and Challenger to revive the social aspect of this game. I have no idea, but I'm sure I would have the power to do that, so I'm going to.
I think I just throw everything out the window, honestly. Like, go full Fearless Draft in LCS or something. Yeah, just try and, like, make some waves.
Not too much I can say without breaking some friendships. We'll see what happens.
Definitely makes you have to think it a little bit differently. Obviously, the champs you just picked are not available anymore, so the next game has to be different.
It's interesting because you're still going to play like the meta champs, and only if it goes to game 3 does it really feel like you have to pull something out of your pocket.
I've always had like a pretty solid champion pool. I think that I kind of have more of an advantage.
The one weird thing of Fearless is maybe flex pick value is slightly lower than it used to be. For example, Karma's buffed. If you pick it support, you can't play it mid or top or whatever in the next games. It takes getting used to, but I think once people get used to it, it's good changes.
Fearless is cool. A couple of players that are just 2 tricks, 1 trick, so it makes them a bit out of their comfort zone. For me, I play every champ, so I don't care.
I really wish if it was Fearless, it would be both sides have the Fearless. You know, if one side picks a champ, both teams can't play it. But I think so far it's pretty decent.
For our first match, I meditated with JJ, our assistant coach, and Daption and Lens. I think that is going to be my new pre-game routine.
I always take some time to like step away, either like headphones completely off, like deafened, some meditation, and like closing my eyes and like focusing.
My pre-game routine is definitely to eat like a really good breakfast, play a couple solo queue games before, and then kind of just relax for maybe 20-30 minutes before the match.
1 or 2 solo queue games into LOL dodge game, controlling a little character in like 2D screen where projectiles are flying at you. It's basically like gets your hands warm, and then like a lot of water.
Some teams they have like workout in the morning, some teams they have like stretches before the matches, some teams, for example in C9 we always walked for like an hour at home, so I don't know what I'm gonna do honestly. Play in the ARM or something. Usually the ARMs are the key to victory.
First thing is I'll eat. It can't be like too soon, but it also can't be like too far from your match, or else you might get like hungry towards the end of it. I take a cold shower, dunk my face in like ice water pretty much, warm my hands under like hot water, or like warm water, and then finally I have like an energy drink. I like doing aim labs actually. Like there's a few like exercises in there that are good for league. You stick to that every single match.
I think there'll be more champions. The meta's switching a little bit now with a lot of buffs and nerfs. So we'll definitely get up to 130 past that for sure.
For sure there'll be more, especially since Cloaked in the league. So yeah.
There'll definitely be more than 99, just because Fearless Draft, and especially once we get to best of 5 series, I think things will get even crazier.
I think there'll probably be more, just because in game 3s you're not allowed to like go back to traditional comfort. And in high pressure moments, that's what most people would default to.
I feel like more just because it's Fearless, but man, I don't even know. But all I know is on big. That's all I know. Like, I can definitely say there's picks I don't want to see. It's like Shaco, Rengar, Zac, Styx, and Nunu. I don't care about any other unique picks like laning, but like if anybody picks those.
Nah, I can't do it. I actually can't do it. I know it might sound crazy, but I can't do that. Maybe if like Yumi was an anime character with like 2 swords. Nah, not with how Yumi is right now. I can't do that. Can't take the deal.
I'm 100% taking that. $3 million to just be the best Yumi ADC on the server? 100%.
That's a lot of money. I'm down.
Yeah, I'll take it. Money is money,
Doing it. Easy. Doing it. It's all good. It's $1 million. No matter who it is, $1 million.
Any champ's ability. There's a lot of different abilities. Maybe like Twitch Q. I've always wanted to go invisible.
I don't even know. I'd have to think about that for a minute, but like off the rip, I could do like Twitch Q. That would probably be clean. Just invis. Yeah, no, I'd take Twitch Q 100%. I could be like TFE and print money.
Hands down, best solution here is TF ult, just so you can teleport like anywhere on the globe, pretty much. And you can reveal your enemies. If you have an off lurking nearby, you pop the ulti and they get lit up. It's like safety plus teleportation, now that I think about it.
Twisted Fate ultimate, if the ultimate worked semi-global. 500 miles. Anything lower than that, I'd choose something else.
I mean, Zillion ulti, probably, just revive people. The fun answer is like Zigzar, because then I'm just like really powerful and like I have a nuke I can drop whenever. Not that I would like do anything with it, but like, yeah, maybe Zigzar or Zillion.
Good question. Maybe Gragas W so I can drink. Gragas is like an infinite amount, you know? You just press W.
Probably Smolder R. It's because it's really fun to use, and honestly, like having a big dragon swoop down on me when I need help would be really cool. And I've also been playing the champ a lot, so yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to the LCS Challengers League. We do have a new face, Cubby, but we are just here to stop in. Unfortunately, we are having some technical issues, and we are having issues logging in to the tournament realm. Now, we're working through some fixes. Hopefully, we'll have that solved as soon as possible. We appreciate your patience. Say goodbye to us. Say hello to Cubby and goodbye, and we'll see you as soon as possible as we get those fixed.
For sure, it's going to be Kaisa, because that's been my day one champ. Ever since the champ came out, I've been one-tricking it, and I just like the champ a lot.
Maybe a Lucian skin. I really like Lucian, and he's got some cool skin, so Lucian skin for sure.
I would probably choose Fiora or Yone, actually. Something like my name in the recall, something like that. Some way to like be immortalized inside of the game.
I mean, for sure, Graves. I think any jungler would say Graves. If I had to be different, nah, I'm taking Graves all the way. Graves is already like representing, bro. Like, it don't need to do no more. Just keep everything the same. Keep it like a pool party scene, you know what I'm saying? Keep it like a pool party scene.
I mean, off the top of my head, a few of my signature champs, I guess, are like the Tryndamere, the Akshan, the Yone, maybe a little bit of Vigar from last year. I feel like not many people play those champs. I would go with Yone because he's really popular, so I would see like a bunch of people using my skin basically. It would feel pretty cool.
I'll choose Wukong because I like monkeys. You know, there's the meme with the gorilla spinning. That's, people say it's the Wukong ult, something like that. He spins in like a really funny way. Maybe if they do it like that.
I would have to choose Tristana because she's my most played champion, and I feel like it can make a cool animation with the explosions, especially with like the rock boom, you know? So there could be something special with that.
Who's my biggest supporter? It's definitely Joshi, because even when I was like super fresh, he was still like putting me in like all pro teams for some reason, even when I was inting. So I'll shout out or say he's my biggest supporter.
Hell yeah. Definitely my girlfriend. She watches all the games. She's in the Twitch chat all the time. Maybe you've seen a suspicious looking name there, but yeah, shout out to my girlfriend.
I would say my biggest supporter is my dad. He watches like all my matches. When I went to like try to go pro, I was working with him, and he was like, just quit, you know, because I was useless, and also because he wanted to like see me go pro.
Definitely my dad or my cousin, Ryan. And my dad watches all my games, so like, that's all you gotta do, you know.
My biggest supporter would definitely be my family, especially my brothers too. They're the reason I play this game. They're the reason I've been so dedicated to this game. And they've always pushed me to be better, so I love my brothers for that. And then my parents, mom and dad, always helping me out.
My dad was always there to say like, you know, like as long as you're gonna try your best and you want to do what you want to do, like I think it's good for you. And he's always been the guy to sort of like talk to my parents about letting me try my options out. So yeah, definitely my dad.
Definitely have to be my parents. They've enabled me to do a lot of things I wouldn't have been able to do without them. And the reason that I'm still playing is because of them. So just the opportunities they give me. It's as simple as that. I wouldn't be in the same place I am now if I wasn't set up for success.
The thing that has surprised me the most is how much better the tier 2 teams are than the tier 3 and college teams.
I think definitely fearless drafting has been really surprising, but just the overall like skill level of the league has gone up in my opinion. And that's been really fun for me as a competitor, and it's just been really nice to see for like the scene overall.
It was more just like last year, like the switch between the academy and NACL. Now it's like the only thing that changed for me was just like the fearless draft. That's pretty much the only thing that surprised me, honestly.
I guess DSG, they're not doing so good. Like somehow they lost to us. I'm not sure about TL. I don't know. It's hard to say because I think both teams, TL and Disguise, their top laners are still top of the table, right, in the league. But something's not clicking. Maybe top is just weak. If your best player is in your top lane, it's not gonna get you wins, you know? Probably want that guy to be on a carry, right?
How good my teammates are and how bad everyone else is. TL or DSG, and I mean, look at them. You can't have names like that on your roster and fail. And if you are failing and you're not taking active steps to fix that, which I think TL are, but I don't see DSG doing, I think that's a failure as a professional player.
Trying to work on my consistency. I think I'm like good at a lot of things, but sometimes I'll like get in my own head, not feel very confident. That'll like affect my play. So keeping up my level of play right now.
I'm still getting solo killed a bunch, so that's not changed at all. I guess I'm working on my laning. Sometimes I just find new ways to die randomly. Definitely just focusing more on my laning, watching VODs, you know, all that. Focusing more.
Definitely my laning phase. I think coming into tier 2, the level of matchup understanding and just controlling lane is a lot more important, especially in the bot lane meta right now with like Kalista and Lucian Melee and all that strong early game stuff.
Right now, I'm just working on my consistency. I know I said that for a little bit if you've been following my story, but I really think I can be the best player in the world if I just get rid of all my mistakes. But I just got a little bit too many of them right now. But yeah, that's my #1 goal.
My mid-game tempo usage is the most important thing. When it comes to like pure laning, I'm already better than basically all of the tops in LCS. I feel pressured to always be doing something because that's the kind of league that I've been taught. But there are certain times when sitting around and doing nothing is a better course of action. Quad, Rocco, and Sheetan specifically, I'd say Jay is like the biggest help with this, which is surprising because he's a jungler. He doesn't let me cope, which is really good. I mean, I don't cope a lot, but like maybe in the moment immediately after doing something, I'll be like, oh, that's not so bad. But then we go back and look at it, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty bad.
So understanding better of what my role is, because I feel like last split, I had more freedom in the champs I was picking. This split, I'm trying to play more of like the meta champs, I would say. Understanding more of like what my job is and understanding what I need to be calling for as a carry role.
My individual skill. Let my gameplay like flow into my teammates. Like sharing my ideas more pretty much. Kind of got to know the difference when to like take a back seat and then when to like, you know, be hard calming as a jungler.
LCS players are some of the best that North America has to offer. But did they start out that way? Did they just wake up one morning and decide they were LCS ready? No, of course not. They all had to start somewhere. And that where, for most of the players that you've seen, was here, in the NACL. And while NACL stands for the North American Challengers League, it also stands for our core fundamental tenets, being new and old competitors learning. And that has been our fundamental belief since this league's inception and has led to the success of many players who need no introduction. Their stories differ. Younger players looking to or just starting to make their mark here in the LCS, or you have older, more experienced players trying to breathe new life in their careers after minor or significant dips. What matters is that NACL is not where stories end, it's where they begin. And you're wondering, how do they do this? How do these players grind up for the first time? How do they make a comeback after falling off? Well, for one thing, the NACL is on live patch, much like the LCS. On top of that, we have something that they don't, and that is Fearless Draft. Fearless Draft, if you don't know, is a setup where when a team picks a champion, that champion is no longer available for the rest of the series. Something that was implemented in hopes to improve champion flexibility in our players and strategic depth in our coaches. And it is something that our teams have already taken to quite well. All right, let's bring it back to the players. Even at this moment, they are grinding it out in the NACL, showing their stuff, honing their skills in hopes that they can promote to the LCS and make it to that big stage. And we have names that you should be very excited about as an LCS viewer because you may see them sooner than you think. And if you want to get ahead on that knowledge and you want to get to know the future of the LCS, all you have to do is watch.
With the spring regular season nearing its end, we gotta talk most valuable prospect. And there's one player who has been a nightmare for his lane opponents, Scary Jerry. Now, this isn't 2023 Scary Jerry. The man has been constantly working his butt off to improve, and it shows massively in the stats. As of week 6, Scary Jerry currently leads the charts with a threatening 9.4 KDA. Him and Psycho put relentless pressure in the bot lane, so much so that Scary Jerry takes first blood in nearly half of his games. He's top of the board when it comes to average kills per game at 6.5, and he also averages the least deaths in the league. The kid has a lot to flex about, and he continues to flex on picks such as Varus, Lucian, and even a Pocket Draven. If you want bot lane brutality, keep an eye on Scary Jerry.
Quad has been a beast this split, and for me it's been all about aggression.
It starts in the laning phase, where he's leading all mids in CS differential at 15 and experience differential at 15. Transitioning that to teamfights, he's leading the league in DPM. Quad is picking high damage champions, and he's playing forward, looking to be a playmaker. And as someone whose time in Korea was ruled by the narrative that he wasn't able to transition his scrim performance to the stage, we've seen nothing but Quad performing on stage this split, and that's why he's one of our frontrunners for most valuable prospect.
My early MVP nod for Spring Split is none other than Maryville University's jungler, UG. Not only has he exhibited an ability to execute high-level mechanics in tense situations, he is also exceptional at marking targets in fights and understanding what his role in said fights is. Couple that with his tenacious focus on getting his bot lane ahead, and UG has been a terror for NACL junglers to contain. Also, in case you're behind on the lore, he hails from Mongolia, and while living there, he hit challengers on the Chinese, Korean, and EU servers, before coming to NA and doing the same here, making him one of the only players ever to hit Challenger in all 4 major servers.
Lastly, we have a bit of a dark horse candidate. There were a lot of questions around how well Shoji would perform on another team where he wasn't getting the same level of resources, because we've seen what he can do when he's allowed to be the star of the show. He gets kills and makes plays like no one's business. But this split, Shoji has nonetheless made great strides in terms of finding opportunities to play more different styles than he's used to, and he's played more games on Talia, Orianna, and Karma this split than any of his traditional carries. Yet, he's still finding moments to shine and constantly still looking for plays. If he can continue this style of growth where we know he can be a strong carry and is able to take a back seat, he will be able to find success on any LCS team in the future. Who do you think deserves to be Spring 2024's most valuable prospect? Let us know in Twitch chat and hit us up on Twitter at Path to LCS.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here with the Rally Cry pre-game interview here with the Coach Cal of Cincinnati Fear. My friend, man, I know it's a little trials and tribulations get into the game, but we're looking at a run from Fear that needs to keep going today. I want to know what you told your guys going into a best of 3 that is literally your season on the line.
No, it's pretty simple. I mean, we have Emery, they don't, which means we should win. It's a pretty simple equation, to be honest. Emery's Lens for reference.
Yeah, of course, Lens. I mean, Lens has been someone that's really been stepping up in the back half of the season. Like, what do you feel like has like really gone into his play or his level up? Do you feel like it's been more of a perspective change, just growing into the split? I know that he wasn't sure if he was going to compete or not even this split. What's it been like for you working with him?
It's been really good. I mean, we like laugh sometimes that it's almost like a happy coincidence that he didn't find the team and we managed to like quickly pick him up, sign him on, make sure he's playing for us when we saw he's not on the team. Because I think even on the wildcard team, like even though they didn't do the best, he was definitely probably the best player. So it was kind of like a no-brainer for us. I think for him throughout the split, the one good thing he has is he's working pretty closely with Daption. And as this is like Daption's first split in the NACL, he lets Emery take the lead on a lot of things, whether it's like which 2v2s they're even playing, champions, how they're playing these lanes. So I think he basically just has a support that will do what he wants him to do, no matter what like the scenario is. And they both have loads of trust between each other, which, yeah, I think only has been shown, you know, the back half of this split.
Very much putting pressure on his own shoulders as well. We're seeing on Twitter, you know, posting about feeling really confident, wanting to take this game serious, right? And I think, has there been any big adaptation from him, I guess, in a little spot of growth, at least in the season, that you've really caught on to? You're like, wow, that's what this season, or at least this split, has been about for this guy.
I mean, I think before the split, a lot of people just kind of had him as like, oh, he can play the Kalista. Even at the beginning of the split, we were playing like Lucian, like, oh, win lane, win game sort of thing. But I think throughout the split, Emery has developed much more past that. I think he's one of the best ADs like outside of lane in this league as well as in the lane at this point. So I think even this is like only the beginning for Emery. I think there's still a big ceiling for him to reach.
Yeah, so of course today you play Maryville. They're a team that, like, when I look at them, they play fast, they play bloody. And when I think about you guys' team throughout the split, it honestly feels like you guys kind of slowed things down as things have gone. Like, you have gotten a little bit more controlled. What's it like as a coach, like, approaching a team that you know, like, they're going to play their game regardless of who they face? What's that prep like going into a best of 3, and how do you kind of balance like maybe fighting fire with fire or trying to take some scaling elements, which is a way that we've seen Maryville beaten in the past?
Well, I think for us it's a similar story, to be honest, though, that like we will play our game no matter which team we play against. Like, you know, we went 2-1 against FlyC both times, and then we lost 2-0 to Wildcard, right? I think, if anything, I think that's actually been something bad for us this split, where at the beginning I think often we were kind of playing to the level of our opposition, whether it's better or worse on paper than us. I think now we know what our strengths are as a team, and we just play towards that. Doesn't really matter which team it is that we're playing against. Not like a ego approach, but just we're confident in what we can do as a team.
Yeah, and that's really important. I know something that Chad has been very vocal about this split so far is kind of his connection with Toasty and a little bit more leadership gained by him. Do you see that from a coaching perspective? Do you feel that on the team as well from Chad's perspective?
I mean, I would say, especially in game, Max is probably the biggest voice we have on the team. He definitely helps out a lot of the like less experienced players, like for example, Dapshin, Alex, etc. When it comes to playing through mid, you know, a lot of it comes through him. Objectives comes through him. So I think he definitely takes that role pretty seriously, especially in terms of his communication.
Yeah, it's been kind of fun visiting with him about that, because I know that, of course, he's always been playing with older mid laners, and he was really looking forward with a chance to work with Toasty, someone that he is a rookie in the split. But Cal, I gotta say for you, it's been pretty fun, because like Fear is a team that we've really seen emerge in NACL after a lot of the changes that we had, and you guys really surprised us last spring. But a win today would mean that you would get your third, at least fourth place or better finish in playoffs in a row. And this time around, you're doing it with a very different group, as you only held on to Philip, whereas from spring to summer last year, Philip was the only change. What would it mean for you to show that like you can place this well with different groups of players just as a coach and in your career?
I mean, I'm sure it's a good thing. I don't really look at it like that much like where we finish sort of thing, right?
Humble king.
No, I mean, it's good always, right? Like, especially when there's these teams that clearly have more resources than us, and then they finish, you know, below us, right? Like, there's a few teams that don't need to mention them, Supernova, but apart from that, it's pretty good, yeah. It's nice to do that. At the same time, I'm not like alone, right? Like, we have JJ, we have Ian, we have analysts, and I think that's the one thing that Fear has done really well, is first kind of built up their coaching staff, even like from spring. Like, they've trusted me for nearly 4 splits now, so I think that's like a good approach they've taken.
I'd say so. It's been working out pretty heftily. Now, there's maybe no secret that Philip has a very close relationship with members over on Maryville University. Is he giving you any secret tips or like any ways to get under their skin? is it giving you the extra gumption?
Not really. I mean, except for the fact they're cheating because they're on 5 ping, right? Apart from that, like, we were playing on like 50, 60 mathematically. That doesn't sound too good for us, but I think that's the one advantage they have, you know, is they're all together, 5 ping, must be nice.
Must be nice. I love it because every time I talk to Philip, and I bring up Spyrax, he's like, "Who's Jalal? I don't know that guy. Who is he?" He's just like, the friendships abound, but the competition is not. I want to get your kind of final thoughts on, you know, if this run can actually happen in a lower bracket fashion for you guys. Do you feel like, you know, a lot of the growth you've been building towards is enough to get you over the hump of double back-to-back top-tier opponents in our league?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially this split, every team can beat every team. I don't think there's that much like top teams per se. Like, I think everyone can beat everyone. I mean, we've seen it, right? Before going into playoffs, I think everyone wrote off the DSG. They're beating everyone, right? They even beat MU. So if the DSG can beat MU, we can beat MU.
I like it. Wise words.
Yeah, I would just want to give you the floor before we let you get back to your team, and hopefully we can, you know, get everyone in the client and play the games today. Any last thoughts, thank yous, or shout-outs you'd like to give before we hopefully hop into the match?
I suppose just shout out my team for trying to stay focused. I know, like, having such a long pause and just having to sit in a call is unfortunate. Same thing for MU players. So hopefully everything gets sorted out so we can just get into the game pretty quickly.
Well, best of luck to you. We're going to take it away. We're going to sit to a little break. We'll come back with another interview after a short little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, next up in some news, it was announced that NACA Finals will be live here in the Riot Games Arena, which is obviously a pretty big deal because this could be the first time some of these players are actually taken to the stage.
I am so pumped for this. To get to see players experience their first ever game on stage is incredible. You know, kind of learning what it's like.
What's NACL?
So speaking of Magic, Cubby, I hear you worked some to get NACL Finals live somehow.
Yeah, team effort. But you know what? We're going back to the studio on April 1st for our live finals. You can get tickets now, and there's even going to be an award show to go along with it.
So you know what's interesting, Emily? Not only are they bringing back the most valuable prospect, but they're introducing a new slew of awards for the players and teams also to vote on.
Yeah, so looking at the list, there's also going to be a most improved player and a rookie of the split award, and they're voting for all pros. It's kind of like we do in the LCS, so it'll feel a little more familiar, I guess.
Yeah, NACL is going to be highlighting more players for their performance over the last split, and I think that's going to be awesome.
I already know who my MVP is, but now I gotta think about all those other awards too.
And also, finals are live, so we could all go technically and see the players.
Yeah, and I think it's so cool that they opened up the voting for the awards to the teams and the players as well.
Yeah, even the NACL co-streamers are going to get a chance to fill out their ballots this year. It's awesome to see so many different community members involved.
Yo, Eric, they just announced that NACL finals are live and we can get tickets.
Oh, sick. Playoffs are on right now. Put it on.
Let's go.
Before this guy won this, he actually won this. And now these guys, they're trying to do the same.
He's looking for the killer instinct. He's going in. He finds two. He finds three.
Masu, you are utterly ridiculous. This guy is also trying to do what that guy did. And he didn't win one of those, but he did win this.
Welcome to the new era. A toast to our champions, disguised.
This guy played one split of LCS and then made semis at Worlds.
It's been a long journey, but I'm happy to be here now.
He's always been really good, but he finally made the comeback. Oh, and he did it with this guy. This guy won Academy, and he had some dreams.
I want to be like the best NA mid laner to go to Worlds, right?
Dokla, however, very, very low. Reinforced by the Senna ultimate, and the Pop Blossom is so awesome!
This kid? Yeah, this kid. He actually didn't win an Academy, but a lot of people thought he was good, and boy, were they right. This guy made Worlds his very first year as a player. It took him a while to get back. He even played with this kid. But then, they did all of this together.
Nobody thought they'd win LCS! Nobody thought they'd beat G2! It's time to change your mind!
You know all of these names, but do you know the names of who's next? The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS. Welcome to Challengers League.
Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
Welcome back, everyone, and this time the graphic is correct. Rally Cry pre-game interview. We're joined with Captain America from Maryville University, maybe not the Marvel one. We are joined by Niles ahead of a match that is oh so important. And as a guy who's had a lot of veterancy behind you, but also a lot of say in kind of the direction of Maryville University, at least in recency, what's the pressure like? Did you have a conversation with the guys ahead of time, and what did you tell them?
Yeah, I think we've definitely been talking a lot about, after our loss to DSG, how we're going to change the way that we play and play in a way that is, I think playoffs always changes what's the most effective tactic and how you play the games. Games are a little bit slower. Teams start picking Braum, you know, in the regular season when they're picking Blitzcrank, you know, it gets down to that R5 and the supports actually want to win. So you're playing against different comps, right? Some things that we're not actually used to playing against in the regular season. So I think during Scrim this week, we sort of just got a lot of good practice against team fight comps and like really understanding our jobs, because obviously we're the early game kings. You know, we'll take it to any one early game. So basically after the DSG series, we're like, you know, it felt worse to play the game than it actually was. We rewatched it. We're like, yeah, that game 3 was definitely ours. Like 100% that game 3 was ours.
Yeah.
You know, misplayed basically one team fight, and Jinx Braum will do that to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. They chase you down, get some resets, get the Baron, right? That's so we just basically rewatched the games together and decided that, all right, once we have a lead, there's not a lot of pressure on us. especially in a scaling comp if they don't have a lot of tools. Basically, we can take it a little bit slower. Whereas I think throughout the season, we had like just split the Baron, like just go, like in playoffs, it's you can take it a little bit slower. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's the takeaways we have. Yeah.
You guys played for blood a lot in the regular season. That I mean, it worked out really well for you guys at the second place finish. And I gotta ask, I mean, like even going back to the start of the split, like this roster kind of came together last second for you guys. You are in a very unique position, unlike anyone else in the league, where you are a player coach, and it's really just you and the 4 guys on the team, right? Like, how far do you feel like you guys have come as a team, like since the very start? And hey, what's that mean for you guys? Not just for this, but also your CLOL season that's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've always respected each other as players, but one thing that we're working on is trusting each other. Like me personally, after the DSG series, I told the guys, yo, I'm gonna step it up for this next series versus Supernova, and I'm gonna drop a nuke. I'm gonna carry you guys. And I had the Aatrox performance, obviously game 1, drop the nuke. I think one thing that we're learning is just learning to trust each other more, play more as a team, because obviously we're 5 extremely talented players, and I always tell the guys, I'm the worst player on the team. It's just I say that not to disparage myself, but to praise them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I trust them so much. I'll give Jerry the reins. I'll give Yuji the reins. I'll give Spyrex the reins. I'm okay picking the Orin, chilling back. So we're working on trust with each other for sure towards the end of the season.
And that's what I want to talk about a little bit. There, big difference this year for Maryville. A lot of long-standing members, maybe not in the starting roster anymore, but also Spyrex coming back into the fold, Yuji coming in and having an incredible season so far. What has it been like for you to kind of mold those pieces into the Maryville fashion, back into school, things like that? Have you been a big voice in that direction for a lot of the new players to the program?
Yeah, I mean, I think in and out of the game, I've definitely tried to be a leader, whether it's making sure everyone's staying on top of their homework. That's a big thing, making sure there's scheduled times for everyone to go to the library and make sure they're prepared for the exams. I know, like, Joel had an exam this morning. Just making sure everyone, I'm part of a life coach as well for some of the boys. I mean, making sure that their mental is stable and they're taking care of everything. So I was actually like fulfilling that role last semester. Obviously a league coach, but also like a life coach type of thing. So I guess it's a similar role. I think a playstyle thing. I think I have a very unique playstyle when it comes to top laners. And it was really funny actually. Like me and Yuji would have conversations towards the beginning of the season, because I'd be like sitting in the mid jungle, like Ignite Rumble, and just like fighting him off his Gromp or his Wolves or his Blue. And he's like, "Is that actually good?" Like, and so we've had some growing together through that. But it's been a great journey with the guys so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild. Like I know that you guys have a really big match coming up, but obviously with Maryville, it's bigger picture because the CLOL schedule really hits its stride, and kind of ties into the promotion tournament as well, which will be coming up rather soon after our playoffs conclude. And a couple of other collegiate teams that I'm sure you're very familiar with have already auto-qualified, like Winthrop and Ole Miss will be in the promotion tournament. I believe the 4th team will be decided with the results this weekend.
Oh, really?
Like, what do you think about those 2 squads? I'm sure that they're scrim partners of yours behind the scenes as well. Like, are you fearful for any of the Challengers teams that like Lit and like that drop down and might actually have to face them?
Well, not to trash talk people who aren't a part of this match this evening, but we don't scrim those teams. We don't think that they're good practice. Honestly, there's only like 3 teams in NACL that give us good practice. So, I mean, not to dog Ole Miss and Winthrop, but I don't think that they're at that level, just watching them in the qualifiers. I mean, like, Denethor lost to Lawrence, right? So, I don't know. I don't think it'd be the best practice for me.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah, I mean, we don't really scrim them. I mean, if they make it up, we'll see next in the summer, right? We'll see what happens this CLO season. No disrespect, but, those, I think you hear what I'm saying.
Now, I want to zone in a little bit more on this series as a whole. Is there anything that you guys kind of took away from the last series in terms of gameplay aspects? I know you were talking about maybe playing towards team fights and focusing that on scrims, but is there anything else in particular that kind of was a bare bones focus for you guys?
Oh yeah, I think I think the way that we're drafting, because it's like if you give Scary Jerry, Kalista, Varus, or give us Ashe, like they will completely dominate bot lane. So like Yeah, you play any volatile matchup versus Scary Jerry Zyko, you're gonna get rolled, right? So a lot of teams have been adapting, and so we have to adapt as well. We have to put more emphasis on practice. Like, oh, maybe we should play a little bit less Callista, because I don't know. I think Jerry's only game he's ever dropped is the first game we ever played in NCL with no practice. So like that guy's a beast. So I think that's been an emphasis on practice. Like, okay, we won't get these champions. We're so practice on them. Let's focus on other picks that we can go. I think you saw Jerry's Zeri. I think he got the quadra kill in our last match.
Yep.
He's a beast in that champion. So we're just practicing a lot more of those types of picks in practice, and also tempo resetting. I think one team that's really good at playing on tempo is Fly C. So just scrimming them and learning more about when to reset, especially you take a good play. A lot of teams won't punish you if you stay on the map longer. That team will, right? So learning to base for tempo, be the first ones on the map, get in the river, these types of things are definitely a point of focus and practice these past couple of days.
Well, I hope that shows up at some point today against Cincy Fear. And you know, going into the match, do you have any like thoughts on Fear or any words like you'd like to say from your shoes in Maryville before you hop in that best of 3 hopefully soon?
Yeah, I mean, I was joking with Lens. I was messaging him earlier. I was telling him he was crashing TR to avoid me eliminating him. And I also will say, I messaged him. I said, Lens, you can't crash TR to avoid me, bro. I'm going to eliminate you, okay? Because after he beat Wildcard, he said, Niles, I'm coming for your head. I said,
yeah, he did.
I said we're friends until we meet, but I will never lose to you ever again. That's what I said to him. So I told him I was going to eliminate him. He's crashing TR. Also, the longer this goes, it's a Jalal buff. He's fasting for Ramadan. So if this pause keeps going, then Jalal's powering up. You know, after game 1, whoo. You know, but a lot of respect to Fear. I think they have a good team chemistry from what I've seen. They're one of the few teams that release the comm videos. You know, Philip's always screaming. You know,
as always.
Yeah. That's just obviously Jalal and UG play with them. You know, so I think it'll be a good match. But I think we're definitely stronger. Especially, I think our mid jungle are insanely strong compared to theirs. It's Toasty's first split. There's no shame in getting rolled by Spyrax. You know, so. When it happens, I don't know. Just take it, go to the next split, take it to improve. But that's how I think the series will go.
Wise words from Niles. Thank you so much, man, for joining us. We'll say goodbye to you and good luck in the series.
All right, see ya.
All right, everyone. Now, unfortunately, we are still experiencing technical delays. We're having issues logging into the tournament realm currently. We're working through some fixes right now, and we do appreciate your patience. We'll be giving updates in the chat, but for now, there is no ETA. So go get some stacks, go get some drinks, hydrate yourself, and we'll hopefully see you soon.